And so, guys, what we're going to be doing in a moment is we're going to be just transferring over to the tables, where we're going to be able to resume round 3 of Swiss between Drani and NPC, who we had on yesterday. So we're actually going to see the run back in both formats, which I think will be really, really exciting to watch. So, guys, we're going to be switching over to the main table, where the players are just going to be deciding who is going first, and then we're going to be able to get going from there. But, of course, we're looking at a really, really interesting matchup, actually. I know we ran that meme into the ground last event, but one of the fastest decks in history versus one of the most controlling decks of today. Going to be really, really curious to see how this turns out, and very, very excited to bring it up to you live from Springfest. Oh, BCS Portugal, standard Swiss round 3. And so we're going to get started. Let's see who is going first here. Looks like NPC is going to be going first. Ooh, so both players got their desired write-ups. As you can see, you're going to get to see Alden. Alden, this one's for you. This is Alden versus Messiah. This is the showdown of some of the most interesting decks out in recent memory. Messiah, of course, out for a while, but is getting a lot of recent support coming up. Meanwhile, we've got decks like Alden, which came out recently with set 4, Destined Showdown, and going to get support in the set coming out next week, which is set 5. Of course, really, really fast deck. Oh no, it looks like Messiah seemed to... No, Messiah was going to say. Okay, I did not missee that. Okay, there we go, and Alden immediately getting rushed, because Messiah knows it's going to have to start playing the pressure game, and it cannot let up for even a moment, especially when Alden's going to start swinging, tri-laning, and going all in to stop him no matter what. Getting so many interesting cards going around right now. So many cool brews floating today. We saw some decks from people we saw yesterday that are going to absolutely excite you to play the new format. I know I've seen some lists today that have made me eager to come back home tomorrow and build my decks so I can continue and play standard as soon as I come in with some new fresh brews, because there's some really, really cool stuff around today. And yeah, there you go. Alden immediately going for that for dual laning. Double Sergeon is nothing to scoff at. There we go. And the PG coming out. And ooh, that's a critical, thankfully, for Drani. He's getting a defensive there, which makes the second attack a lot harder to hit. Definitely something you want to be seeing right now if you're Chris. The thing is as well, though, of course, for those of you unaware, for those of you tuning into the game, maybe you've been out for a while. That's understandable, you know. We have a new card called Selgeon, introduced as a promo in Divine Set 1. Allowing us to, when it attacks, for all Keta decks, if you have either got more rear guards than your opponent, or have played an order this turn, gains 5k, and at the end of the battle you may retire it, and if you do, you check the top 2 cards, add 1 to hand and 1 to the bottom. So a lot of filtering, a lot of draw, and is effectively a 4-off in every Keta deck that can fit it. Meanwhile, Drani out here is going to be discarding his... Ooh. Combo pieces aren't always the best thing to discard, but Drani is grade 2, and using the Liel, the new grade 2 from Festival Collection. Duelation, actually, between Keta and Brand, so, you know, really getting to face both sides of it in this matchup, allowing itself to bot deck a card, a normal unit or an order from your drop zone, and then, although you can always choose not to, and then just go CB1 top 5 to call something. Unfortunately, it looks as though... Oh, no, actually, no, we did manage to find one. We managed to find its partner, let's call it, from Festival Connection. We are looking at the Seyfried, which is effectively Brandgate's version of the Clockwise we saw put in so much work last game for Jet. But yeah, no, the 2 damage here is a little rough, unfortunately. But yeah, no, immediately calling down the Messiahs, we're going to start aggroing. Again, Chris knows. Chris is a seasoned Weiss player and a long-time Vanguard player, knows exactly how to play this game. Immediately checks a heal. Very impactful here. And he's going to start tri-laning. He knows that Alden is going to be able to rush him next turn, so he can't afford to sit and wait. Then immediately taking that damage. Ooh. A defensive might seem like, oh, but the PG there is a real important thing to watch, because as we know, crest decks are going to get very big. And Drani's going to be able to get his crits, he's going to be able to swing multiple times, and he's going to start really, really pushing NPC to his limits in the next turn or 2, especially going second. And yeah, even there, discarding the front, implying a lot of normal units in that hand, which, while Alden's gimmick, still also means a lot of lacking shield. Again, we're getting some push out of the Alden's named booster, and to be able to continue applying pressure and calling real numbers. Hopefully pressuring Trident, and there we go. Get to see the brand new triple rare for Alden, which is not only a 20k shield, but is also able to attack extend. If it's called by an ability, it is able to then choose another rearguard and extend it, which allows Alden to push for those ever so elusive 5 attacks and really, really push their opponents. Yeah, and we see the Topaz coming out there as well. Topaz is an interesting one. You don't see it very often, but it is a very, very strong card that's been getting a lot of traction recently. Part of the cat waves from DBT 12 was a Vengeful Onslaught, allowing us to perform an effect when it's placed on Rearguard or Guardian Cycle by returning 2 cards from Soul or Drop back to the right deck. So it's got limited uses. They have a phase effect on the Rearguard Cycle, in Kes's case, top 5 call 1. In Darkstade's case, like we saw last game, it's countercharge 1. But a uniform skill on Guardian Cycle of getting 15k shield, thereby becoming 20k shields. And again, like a broken record, shield is so important in this format. We saw last turn what 5k shields does for you. And 5k being the difference between surviving and dying. Really, really, really valuable. Especially when you're able to use them as boosters in decks that focus so much on front row units. Having all those resources and all that utility attached to a back row unit is invaluable, especially for decks like Alden. And for those of you missed Vienna, of course, we're going to be seeing one of the old support cards for Alden, basically saying when it's placed by an ability, it's Ermac, the Sharpness Knight Ermac, in fact, real sharp guy. When it's placed on Rearguard, if your Vanguard is an Alden, it gains 5k shield, and if it was placed by a card's ability, so not just from hand, it gains 15k instead. So it gets real, real big. And, well, when you're an aggro deck, I think you're pretty happy to see that. God, double Alden boosters, scary. And actually, well, we get to see a tech you don't get to see often as the Alden player. Or as Alden's opponent, I should say. Which is going to be the new Alden Order card. Effectively saying, you play this if your Vanguard is an Alden with Divine Skill. You choose a Vanguard and it gets 1 in attacks, you counterblast 1, choose up to 1 card from your hand and call it to Rearguard. So in case you don't have the great triple rate to call, you're able to call something else. And now you're going to be able to just multi-attack. Multi-attack and multi-attack. Very cool art. Unfortunately, doesn't get to see very much use in Alden decks at the moment. But yeah, oh, there we go. They're officially going into Soul. Swinging Vanguard. Is his opponent going to be willing to take it? Counterblast 1. Draws and calls, perhaps? And yeah, it's going to be the official calling. There we are. She's going to become huge. And when she's placed by an ability... When placed by an ability, you're going to call from hand. There you go. Then you're calling another Ermac, because you know the Ermac is going to be pretty big on its own. That's not going to be a 25 swing on its own. So yeah, you're just going to start spamming the fact that it doesn't need a booster. Dradney is on grade 2. Each one of these is a 20k shield. Just look at how nervous Dradney is. He's counting his cards. He's thinking. And yeah, it's going to be a PG coming out. Discarding a... Ooh, that's not all you don't want to be discarding this, but a critical trigger coming out. Alden going to be giving all of that to the Ermac. That's going to be calling for so much shield. 30k shield that's going to be calling for. And a second check is another critical trigger. The 2 critical... Do you just commit them all to 1? I feel like you might have to, right? Because as Brand, you kind of want to have a little bit of CB to work with here. But yeah, it's just going to be splitting the crits. Applying maximum pressure. Yeah, that is incredible. It's also so much shield. that Dryad is probably going to have a pretty hard time breaking through next turn. So he's going to need to find a way to stabilize. First check. Second check. Ooh, yeah, just giving it to the Vanguard there, I suppose. Yeah, no reason not to. No, not even crit to Rearguard, just taking it. Yeah, taking the Rearguard swing. Going straight to 5. That is so rough. Oh my god. Just spare a thought for Chris right now. Discarding, there we go, discarding. Going to be striding. Oh no, going to be riding up for grade 3. Draw a card. Activate the effect of C3, discarding a card from hand for a Nocturcio clone. Going to move from game, add it to hand, and then discard it again for stride to draw another card. Yeah, and that's going to be our Amnesty Messiah right there. Amnesty Messiah, of course, introducing the Stride deck set, and it's also our most recent Stride until set 6 shifts things up with Transels. But Amnesty, of course, is going to allow us to counterblast 1, unlock as many cards as we want, and choose a unit and give it plus 5k for each unit unlocked by this effect. And yeah, he's going to go for the Stride skill, counterblast 1 of Messiah to lock one of his units and one of his opponents, opting to lock that front row to slowly start binding them. Of course, as that card is also his biggest shield, you can't blame Chris for wanting that thing off the board, out of the game, and out of his face. He doesn't want to be seeing it anywhere near him, on the table or elsewhere. Yeah, there you go, going for that double lock there. Yeah, he just doesn't want to be seeing those normal units. Yeah, there we go. Going for maximum locking. Because, yeah, of course, for those of you that don't know, locking turns units face down, but when they are unlocked as standing, which is the source of Link Joker's multi-attack archetype being Messiah. The entire gimmick of the deck is that you continuously bounce units from locked to unlocked in order to attack extend, and then at the end of the turn, for every unit that unlocks, you then Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. So, although Chris's hand looks pretty small now, you're going to see it's going to grow real fast, real big, real quick. And that's just not something you can ever really underestimate on Messiah. Like, sometimes you just draw the nuts and there's just nothing you can do. There we go. We go 1, 2, 3, 4 unlocks. 5 unlocks. There we go, because we want to give something 10k. Because, yeah, your grade 2 from the right line, when it unlocks, it gives something 10k. So, yeah, it's going to make the Rearguard massive. But, yeah, you give the 10k to the Vanguard. You want to make sure you're pressuring here. You want to force NPC to burn a PG here, and he will. Ooh, is that a glimpse of a second PG, maybe? First, second, and third. Unfortunately, no triggers is kind of rough here. But we're going to hopefully get to see Chris draw enough cards to somewhat stabilize here next turn. God, swing for 53 at the Vanguard. Opponent, of course, going to take it. There's just no way. There's just no way NPC is in any position to be taking all this damage. There we go. And he's going to... Ooh, and that's a Persona Ride coming out. You really hope he's got one in hand now, because it's going to hurt if he doesn't have it. There we go. And that's going to be a D-Stride. He's going to be unlocking 6 cards. Drawing... How many? Is that 3? 1, 2, 3 cards. Not as much as you'd think, but more than most decks can manage at this stage in the game. Unfortunately, 3 souls is fairly small, but with any luck, he should be able to stabilize here. And NPC basically has 1 turn. He's on the clock now. And we'll see if he can seal the game out. Yeah, there we go. And he's got that Persona Ride coming in. We can see another cat in the hand. Of course, the Persona Ride enabling him to now be able to utilize that again if he has to. But we'll see how it goes from this point on. Yeah, that's... Ooh, the double... The pain is that that means there isn't one in deck, which is really, really dangerous to be in a position to be in if you're Alden right now. There you go, yeah, immediately new board, just doing it. Yeah, because he played the order as well, he's going for the 5 attacks. He knows he just needs to connect 1. And Chris is just kind of nervous. He knows he has to like let it hit. But because of the persona right numbers, these are rough. It might be that the 2 crit really swung the game there. That could have just sealed the game for him in the spot. I think taking 3 damage is like a little too much. Yeah, it costs 2 cards for 1 attack is never a position you want to be seeing yourself in as Messiah, especially into a deck as aggressive as Alden. You know, we're looking at 5 cards in hand for Chris and 3 more attacks to go plus persona right powers. I don't know how likely it's looking for him right now. It's probably looking kind of rough. Only 2 cards in hand though, or 3 cards. So you know, if he's able to survive this turn, he's probably secured. But we're gonna get to see. Yeah, he's calling 1 from hand. Gonna get to see if he gets to call anything else here. Now he's thinking. There we go. And what's he gonna be doing here? And Soul Blast 1. And we go. He's gonna get to stand the unit behind it. Gonna go for as big a number as he possibly can. There we go. The Grey 2 added to hand, because when something is called over, it's going to be added back to the hand. Swing with the Alden CB1, call another card from hand, and it's gonna be out trying to. She's gonna be resigning the thing behind her. There we go. She's gonna be going for that Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast 1 going to be standing the booster behind her. And yeah, it's gonna be big numbers. I just don't know if Chris can handle this. There we go. That's going to be a fuzz. That's a heal. The heal is huge here. Oh my god. The heal is massive. And the... Oh my gosh. The double is crazy. Because now even if by some miracle Chris survives this, he now has to confirm 2 whole damage. But the hand isn't big, so it really is a case of, can Chris survive this turn? Is his hand enough? God, it's really coming down to the wire. You're going for the energy cycle as well. Oh my god, he had another one. Oh, really gotta count those numbers carefully. You have to optimally guard here to try and get out of this. Yeah, you can see the faces both very, very nervous. Having to count so carefully. Taking it. And unfortunately, that is going to be game. And NPC is going to get to take this round. Absolutely fantastic performance on both players' side. But the 2 double triggers just proved a little too much for Messiah in order to be able to stabilize. So unfortunately, that is going to be game. And Messiah, obviously, Chris is going to lose here. But keep playing on. You haven't lost yet. The game is still early. We have 4 more rounds to go for Swiss. And we will catch you guys very, very soon. Maybe with a little extra technical surprise, depending on how the little break goes. We'll see you guys very, very shortly. Congratulations to NPC for taking this win. And we will see you guys in just a few minutes. Take care, guys.